Welcome in. We're in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, and we're at the base of what they call Clifton Hill. This is an area that is just loaded with attractions and restaurants, gift shops, and everything you'd expect in a heavily trafficked tourist town. So we're going to take a walk up Clifton Hill. I'm going to show you the major area, and it's just about midnight here in Ontario, Canada. Of course, we're in the Eastern time zone, and it's still very lively. Lots of people out and about, and towards the end of the stream, probably 45 minutes from now, we'll head down to Niagara Falls and have a look at the light show as we head outside. When we look down this street here, we can see that there's a lot more activity. Hard Rock Cafe's down there, there's a Hershey store, and a few other things, but it's really not quite as lively as up the street at this time. So we're just gonna stay in the main area. But thank you for joining, and hopefully you enjoy this stream. I try to head out into Niagara Falls and other areas when I can. So if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you will. And please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this video, give me a comment. Those kind of things really do help. The only other thing you got to be mindful of is that there are a lot of restaurants as well as bars, even a couple of nightclubs and things like that here. So there could have been a little bit of drinking going on. It's mostly families, so there's not going to be a ton of that. Shouldn't be too disturbing or anything like that, but time will tell. We've only come up the street just a few feet, and you can already get an idea of the kind of activity there is to see on Clifton Hill.
Without the fries, I would be like starving.
Lots of live music. I'm sure a few places will have DJs and things like that as well. Two Pineapples, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Trying to get some activity on Friday nights now because I've got a special project coming up on this channel in 2 weeks. So my intention was to be out last week, which we did, out for a while again today, and then I'll try for next week again so that we get a weekly vibe going on here, and then should be a lot of fun. Dave's Adventures, good to see you in the house. Corinne's Life, thank you for being here. Scratch and PPA, always good to see you. My dear friend, the weightlifting geek, is in the house. Hope Bus was first in the door. Thanks for that. Mark Binsett. I actually met last year here in Niagara on the Lake, which is the next town north of Niagara Falls. It's another beautiful tourist area, and Mark Binsett usually makes a yearly family vacation. So thank you for watching. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody in the chat. Makeup Mom and Son is doing a birthday stream tonight. So thank you for those of you who are watching both. Robert Werner, good to see you in the house. Oh, you're in Nashville right now. Yes, very cool. Mike Fammy, good to see you in the house. Some of you know Jeff Lepard. I run a few channels for him, and he's able to travel a bit. One of his channels, particularly Travel Fun 69, he was able to go down to Nashville and see what was going on with the People's Convoy. That was after what was going on in February here in Canada, actually. The Stock Explorer, good to see you in the house. This is an arcade. The last time I was down here last week, we got to come through. But some of these places were a little more closed off for the last couple of years. So it's great to see it open. I don't want to get into too many political ideas, but the threat of lockdowns lingers over us as we enter what they're calling here the 7th wave or something like that. So we'll see. But lesson learned, let's get out and see what we can while we can, right? Arcades have sure changed over the years. I spent all of my allowance in my first lawn cutting and snow shoveling money in arcades. But this is a lot more wild looking than back then. When we look at the prize wall, a lot of these games have tickets, and then you eventually redeem those tickets for prizes. And they get into some pretty incredible stuff. I wouldn't be surprised to see a PlayStation or an Xbox or something like that in places like this as a prize. As you can see, like I said, it's just about midnight. Lots and lots of people out enjoying themselves. Mostly families, but lots of groups of friends and things like that, I'm sure. Jeremy D-Day, good to see you in the house. Rich Cat Ranch, thanks for coming back in. Donut Toys and Games, thanks for following again. Seventh wave, yeah. I literally think it's called the seventh wave. It's ridiculous. But again, I won't go too far with that. And Mark Binsett is going to be visiting again in a couple of weeks. That's just a quick look at that arcade. Right outside is the Fudge shop. We've been here many times. Last time we caught them when they were just dumping the fudge onto the table. We've seen them make this stuff many times before. And then they let you into the store for a walk around. We've looked at this. I'll take you inside. It's not the look, it's the smell of the place that you can imagine is unbelievable. Lots of exciting things that you might not always see. Of course, they got toys and other novelties and things like that. This is pretty typical stuff. Some of the stuffed animals and things are a little bit different, but when we head over to the counter and you get to see the fudge and the candy apples and things like that, you get an idea of just how wondrous this place is. We've enjoyed far too much of that stuff. We had so much fudge last year that I think we might still have some of it. I'm gonna just park myself for a quick second here. It's going to be interesting eventually to go into a lot of these places. Most of them I've just seen from the outside. Conscious Business Services and Opportunities is our friend Charlene Heal with a second YouTube channel. Most of the people that come through this type of live stream have channels of their own. So thank you everybody for being here. I've come out late and I run a pretty tight schedule on Fridays. I really don't have like too much time to spare, but I did kind of marry in the idea of being able to go out late like this so that the weather is not so overwhelming, right? We've been in this extreme heat wave and the phones overheat and things like that, so trying to be mindful of that, but we should be good. We lasted an hour or so last week. There's the Niagara Sky Wheel. We've been on that a few times. One of the first things that Kristen and I did when I started seeing her almost 7 years ago. Of course, we knew each other when we were younger, for those of you keeping score. Sarah, thank you for coming in. So good to see so many people out, like enjoying themselves, right? And in amongst this area, you'll find a lot of restaurants and bars, some of which are franchises like Boston Pizza there, Dairy Queen. Pizza is a big one here in Canada, like Tim Hortons. We're right beside there. But there's a lot of independents as well. There's a few less people here right now just because it's so late. Literally, it's midnight, right? It's often on, especially weekends, just jam-packed with people. They have a fun pass down here, and you can buy this for $20 or $30. I forget. They've changed the prices over the last couple of years, but you get about 6 attractions. One of those is mini golf, and you get to choose between this dinosaur adventure golf or one that's indoors over here next door, Wizards Golf. And then of course this is a huge gift shop, just monstrous. We'll take a look inside. We'd been in here before. They got a lot of what you'd expect, and then maybe some things that you had in part of me. Thank you. Corinne's life would be having a heart attack in the chat right now, thinking I could have made all that stuff, because she can. All the different things you'd expect, maybe some things you hadn't seen before. Of course, maple syrup is always a big thing in every gift shop. A lot of other collectible artifacts and things like that. Any Christopher Cross fans in the house? Of course, they're going to have calm or middle of the road music around here, nothing too thumping, but we'll go back outside and things will be a little more lively, although they do have quite a bit of traffic here in the store right now. Forgive me for all I'm missing in the chat. I'll try to keep up. Oh yeah, no, that I don't know if it might have moved, Sarah, in the last long while. I've only lived here for 6 years. Kristen would know better than I, but anything's possible. I think it'd be quite an undertaking to move it. Jay East, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Yes, Rich Cat Ranch knows Christopher Cross. When I used to, when I was a much younger adult, I used to be a DJ, and in the beginnings of that, if I would play, I never did really weddings, only did one wedding in my life. It was just horrible and everything else, but when I used to do, I started by doing banquets and things. My first real full-time job that was permanent was working in a bowling alley. And they have like all these teams and leagues and things like that go on regularly. They would have their banquets at the end of the year, and I must have been 19, 20 years old. And they, a couple of the people gave me a chance to DJ their banquets, which was kind of cool. But for dinner music, I was so young at it, I didn't really know what to do, so I just put a Christopher Cross album on, the way somebody might do with Michael Bublé or something now. Oh, the funnel cakes? Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find one. There they are, funnel cakes. Let's go have a look. Occasionally I look at prices here, but let's just have a quick look at what on earth I'm talking about. If you ever wondered what poutine is, one of these days we'll get a better look by actually having some. But here's a look. French fries, usually with gravy and cheese curds, but then it's become such a big thing that people are just loading it with all kinds of stuff. So this says funnel cakes. Let me just see if I can find, here we go. $13.79, that doesn't even seem terrible to me, to be honest with you. Pardon me, as a price. You'll find those at all the tourist destinations, of course, like Canada's Wonderland is a huge theme park. I've done streams over there as well, where we've actually had them. Can't remember for the life of me if we had it on stream or not, but we're gonna try to head there sometime soon. We've been in this heat wave, and it's just the hardest thing to be able to get out and tolerate that heat for a long period of time. Not just the heat, it's the humidity, but then the phones. Canada's Wonderland's exactly where I had a phone shut down, right? You lose a stream that way. So I'm not sure Rich Cat Ranch. I have to either you have to remind me or I have to get over there and see. But my bet is that I haven't. So a lot of you may not know, but I work full time, and half of my job is doing social media and YouTube for other people, but half of my job takes me outdoors and away from the computer. So I tend on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the good summer months to miss a lot and have to play catch up all weekend. Rich Cat Ranch, oh yeah, no, I filmed at Canada's Wonderland, it's fine, but the thing is that the phone overheated, so I had to cut the stream and then switch phones. You can't have like a cover on your phone and stuff like that. Like you see, I'm using another phone to read the chat, but I like to have an OtterBox on it. You never know if it's gonna fall or anything like that. So, I don't know how much you're seeing while I'm talking so much, but right here is the Mario Kart inspired Niagara Speedway. That's a go-kart track and pretty unbelievably elaborate. I joke about this all the time, but you know, you want to see a government project get built that involves structures and concrete and things like that. It takes years, if not decades. They put this up in a year or less. Because it's private, of course, right? And for profit. In one of the haunted houses, I can absolutely do that. Today I'm not going to do it, and forgive me, it's just because I'm out like really late. I just wanted to come out and get some activity happening, kind of show everybody what things are like before anything changes, because it is the middle of summer now. But I will try to get through something like that very soon. Forgive me for anything I've missed in the chat. Mark the Shark, good to see you here. I'm not wearing Mark's hat today. Mark sent over a beautifully embroidered Mark the Shark hat. I've worn it on other streams. One of these days I'll bring it out here. Yeah, you're right, Mark Vincent. The iPhone 12 mini is what I'm using for streaming right now. And I have an iPhone 11 that I use as my phone The reason why a mini, more than anything else, like cost savings and this and that, is because it fits in the gimbal really well, even with a case, and it doesn't put strain on the motors because it's not that heavy. These are all kinds of things that we have to consider, right? So I love to think of myself as not being cheap, but I do demand value out of every dollar spent, let's just say. So if I'm gonna buy a gimbal and I'm gonna buy a phone, I want them to last for as long as they literally can. And therefore I use the bigger phone just to walk around and read the chat with. My vision is not what it once was, so without glasses, even with the phones that are in Zoom, it's hard to see the screen sometimes. For those of you who've live streamed with Streamlabs, which is what I'm using right now, you'll know what I mean. You could change the text, but it starts to look ridiculous after a little while. So Kelsey's was able to stay open somehow through the bulk of the closures. And you know what I'm talking about here. My guess is because they've got this structure that they seem to have built, which makes it seem indoors, but also seem somewhat outdoors. So they haven't missed out on too much money. But you're getting an idea of all the different things there are to see, do, and especially eat around here. Ripley's owns half the block. You'll see Ripley's things all over the place. You get an idea of some of the attractions and things that are here. As I pan around, you'll get kind of an idea of where I just walked. Down the street, you'll see a sign that says Great Canadian Midway. That was the arcade. And what we did was go towards the Ferris wheel, which you can see in the background there, and just walked around this kind of block of entertainment. So I'm just going to cross the street and we'll see what's over there on the other side. We'll head back down, and pretty soon we'll be looking at the Niagara Falls themselves. They got the light show on and everything. I haven't been to any of the Ripley stuff here, but like they've got an aquarium. I forget if that's in Toronto or close. They've got a Ripley's selfie studio, which I still have to go in and really see what that is. I'm sure we can all imagine. And then Ripley's Believe It or Not is a new attraction here. I think that's where the old nightclub Rumors was. There was this nightclub that was very popular for years and years. People came from all over southern Ontario to go to that nightclub back in the day. I think I saw it once, but in the daytime, if I even remember right, and it was so long ago I probably don't. But thank you everybody for being here. Purple Tube, good to see you in the house. Oh, near Lakeshore in Toronto, thank you. Kaiser Gaming YT, that's Chris's Clever Craft. He's got a few channels, as a matter of fact, but thank you for coming in. Trying to be a responsible citizen here and wait for the thing to change before I run across the street. There's a few people waiting as well. And then thank you, Rich Cat Ranch. So thank you everybody for being here. So like I was saying, I have a special project coming up in a couple of weeks where I'm actually gonna pull the headphones out and I'm gonna be DJing in a pretty large bar. It's actually north of Toronto. It's not really in the GTA, it's outside. But it's been a long time and that should be really, really cool. Hilda DC, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. What am I missing this, or like is the light not changing? Okay, I'm too impatient. So you get an idea of the kind of things that are over there. Beaver tails is another thing that's a popular type of treat, or I don't know if you want to call it a dessert or something like that, in the line of funnel cakes. It's a pastry, and it's basically laid out like a big oval. I don't know how to otherwise explain it. Meant to look like a beaver tail, and then you can put all kinds of stuff on it. They get into there's Reese stuff. There's different, I don't know, jellies and jams and sauces and chocolate chips and marshmallows and every other wonderful thing. We've looked at that before. Here's Ripley's Believe It or Not. Let's just see what's happening in here. I'm trying to figure out if I'm being followed here, or somebody wants my phones or something else. Maybe not. Just catch him on camera there for a second, just in case. It looks like he's had enough now. These things are cool, eh? You can rent these. I haven't looked into what these things cost. Maybe one day we'll do this. Those have got to be fun. Definitely attention grabbing. When we go down the little alleys or streets here, you'll find even more entertainment. As far as I know, there's a comedy club over there and a couple of other things. Here's that Wizards mini golf. I wonder if our passes will still be honored. We used our fun passes, which I'll show you in another moment here, for a few of the attractions. But because you don't have to do it all in one day and we live here, I figure, well, we'll do it all separately and make separate videos. So there you go, over $30 in savings. Let me see if I can ask one of these guys how much the pass is. You get an idea of the different things that you can do when you get the pass, which we've obviously gotten, right? The Niagara Skywheel is always included. Pardon me, do you mind if I just... Oh, here it is, never mind. How much is the pass? Oh, 34, there it is, okay. Thank you. So here's the prices here. Thank you for that. I'm on YouTube, you want to say hello? It's all right. And then if you just want to come to the golf, there's your prices right there. But it's such a great value, in my opinion. This is the other end of that same gift shop that we went in. There's Corinne's Life's Favorite, Tim Hortons. And like I said, you see independent restaurants mixed in with popular franchises like Applebee's. I can't remember what this one dessert I had at Applebee's was. Half of my memories are now like starting to talk about 10 years ago and 20 years ago and stuff. There was some apple, I don't know, vanilla, if I remember, lava cake thing or something. I don't know. Maybe it had nothing to do with Apple. I don't remember. It was Delicioso. I don't know if they still have anything like that. Mr. Bones, good to see you in the house. Jenny Gibman, good to see you here. Thank you for coming in. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Tropical Buzz is the second channel from the Stock Explorer. Forgive me for anything I've missed in the chat. I'm trying to keep up. I should put my glasses on. Word up, you're right about that. Thank you, Dave's Adventures. Live entertainment over there is interesting here because this, where you see the sign there that says toys under the pizza shop, you see what used to be the Harley Davidson store. So I still have yet to find out whether they moved that or are gone. But we got a chance to go in there a couple of times before the closures and everything. So I'll give you an idea where we are again. When we look around, this is kind of where we are. We went to the left over by the Skywheel over there. I know I move pretty quickly when I'm by myself too. Don't mean to race through this stuff. Here's the Fudge shop, but they're not doing anything with it yet. They might be done for the day now that it's midnight. But they let you not only like stand at the window, obviously, and watch them make the fudge, but we've been in there several times. Yeah, it was wicked. Anything Harley Davidson was in there, like all kinds of, I don't know, clothing and collectibles and things like that. Makeup Mom and Son, good to see you in the house. Her birthday is actually coming up, but she did a birthday stream today, so I hope everybody will wish Makeup Mom and Son a happy birthday. She has been a dear friend for a very long time. Get an idea when we look back up the street at just how much activity there is here. I'm sure a lot of people come for weekend visits, but I think a week would be justified. There's lots of other things to do around Niagara Falls, as you can imagine, like tours, and you know, this is like our wine country, if you want to call it that. And then you know, the falls themselves have their own activities. There's a zip line, we'll see that soon, and they have these, I don't know how to explain this until we see it one day, but these jet-powered boats, they hold about, I'm guessing 50 people at a time, and you whip through some of the rough waters. Not to mention the Maid of the Mist that I know is very popular, and we'll actually see those boats probably when we go down here. They won't be running right now, but we'll get a very quick look. I might have to park for a quick second here. I just got to reorganize some cables and things like that. Lots of hotels, motels. It's known as the honeymoon capital of the world. You'll get an idea of what some of those hotels will give you for a view when we get down here to the falls. We're on our way down there now. Oh, it's, yes, 12:20. Thank you. Thieves Adventures, you're absolutely right. We're back from whence we started. There's the Hard Rock Cafe down the street again. Love to set a good example and wait for another minute, but we'll just keep moving. Those lights seem longer to change than I remember. I still have yet in this year to run into Gypsy Luciano. He's a performer and he usually ends up right here in this area. I haven't been out early enough to catch him since things opened up again, but hopefully soon. He's got his own YouTube channel, if you want to look that up, Gypsy Luciano. And he was always accommodating when I would come by and check him out. They do have fireworks, but I'm not 100% sure on the days. So it used to be that they would do those on oh, for the life of me, I can't remember if it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Kristen knows better. And then it seemed that there was a year where they were every single day. And then the closures happened and they stopped that for a long, long time. So they've come back, and my understanding is that some of the residents have complained about the noise. So that's something else. I'll try to get out and catch some fireworks when I can. Hopefully before they finish for the season. It's hard to believe, but the summer is already escaping, right? We're into August, which means we got to start fulfilling those summer plans. So this is kind of a viewing area, and this is actually where the zip line people get brought back up. And then there's this Niagara City Cruises. Now, I haven't been down there yet, and that might be your entrance to the Hornblower, which is the Canadian version of the Maid of the Mist. So now you're gonna have to pardon me. Today's a little bit different than most days. I don't know whether you can see, it looks like you might be able to, the mist coming off of the Horseshoe Falls, which is the Canadian side, the one that is so familiar, shaped like a horseshoe, of course, has a mist that is flying through the air coming this far. It's actually falling on me right now. So we're gonna keep the stream going as long as we can, but while I was coming up here, I was literally getting soaked. It's almost like, feels like it's actually raining. So in another 10 or 15 minutes, we'll just see how it's going. But in an effort not to have the phones get soaked, I wasn't thinking about that for today. I haven't seen mist like that since probably a year. And it just depends on which way the wind's blowing, of course, right? But that mist is literally like covering everything right now. They keep banning me. Do you actually have a channel that I've banned over here? Do you have a channel I need to release? When I had first started on YouTube, I had no idea about trolling and stuff like that, and our first experience of it was pretty overwhelming. So I got a little trigger happy with the banning and probably let a couple of channels go on all the channels that I was working on, more than was necessary. Sometimes people troll and they're just joking and stuff like that, just trying to be funny, and it took me a long time to realize what was going on, to be honest with you. Just never experienced it before. You never know, right? You never know. But people do have some creative channel names too. So now we get a little bit of a better look at the falls. There's the American Falls, and off to the side is a separate little piece there that's called the Bridal Veil Falls for its look. And the lights on the Niagara Falls change. As you can see, they've got all kinds of like spectacular light shows that go on. You can imagine how powerful the lights have to be, and I'll show you where they're coming from soon. If I just head over to the side here, that's the zip line tower we just walked through, and up there obviously are the gates where the zip lines are released. I don't know if you can see the wires, and then they head all the way down. If you can see, I'll try to get it in the exact center of the frame. That small light patch is the landing. It takes about 45 seconds if I remember right. But we did actually do a stream where we went on the zip line. Kristen and Kira and I went on there, and what they do is they won't allow you to carry a phone or a gimbal. Understandably, a lot of places are like that, right? Can't film when you're doing these activities that are, I don't know, dangerous or whatever you want to call it. So what they do is they get you to put all your personal belongings in almost like a backpack that you wear. So the stream goes black for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, something like that. But they do let you wear a GoPro, which I had on me with the chest mount. So I was able to get a first-person view of what it's like to go down that zip line, and you can check that out on the channel as well. It's a separate video, obviously. There's the hornblower boats, and those are the Canadian version of the Maid of the Mist. that is so unbelievably famous from movies and television and everything else. Once I walk farther the other way, we'll be able to look back. There's just a lot of obstruction, and the Maid of the Mist boats where they dock is very far away. One of the things I point out all the time is you'll notice that right around me there's not a lot of light. Like you see this one light on the right hand side that I'm about to walk by, but other than that there's not much here, and my guess is that that's to put the focus on the Niagara Falls. Oh goodness, I'm gonna have to see what you're talking about there. You keep handing me Werner's Adventures. Good to see you in the house. Yeah, zip line, that was my second time zip lining actually. There's another area, and it's a few hours away from where we are, called Blue Mountain. And it's known as a ski resort. I didn't realize they had summer activities there because I'd never been there, but we went for kind of a weekend away, if you want to call it that, and we were able to go on a zip line there, which was kind of cool. Much faster than this one. This one's kind of calm and cool. Nate Vlog, good to see you in the house. You know, Nate Vlog is somebody who has literally been supporting since the very beginning of my small YouTuber adventure, if you want to call it that, or journey. And that is now getting on 3 years ago. It was either Nate Vlog who introduced me to the Hoops Family Network, or the other way around, and a few other people like Jeremy D-Day, who's been in the chat with us today, have been supportive this whole time. Nate Vlog still to this day comes in every chance that he can, and I really do appreciate that. Michael's Adventures, good to see you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Now they keep changing these colors. I'm just gonna park for a second again. I know I walk a lot faster than I think I do while we're doing these things here. Michael's Adventures, another dear friend, supports on all of my channels as much as he can. I really do appreciate everybody being here. So like I said, the reason that we're out more than anything else is I actually wanted to get some activity going on Friday nights, because 2 weeks from now I've got a special project starting, and if it goes well, it should be a lot of fun. I did say I was going to look at the hornblower, or sorry, the Maid of the Mist, and life of me now I can't see. I got glasses on and everything, I think, if I'm right. You'll have to look at the other streams to know if I'm right here. Under the Rainbow Bridge, which is where we cross to the United States, I've probably been over there 100 times, and I'm not kidding. I've been to the States somewhere between 150 and 200 times. But underneath there, you can see off another, I don't know, 100 yards or 200 yards away is the docks for the Maid of the Mist. When we're out here in the daytime, you get to see those boats moving, and they seem to take turns, the Maid of the Mist and the Hornblower, going right up to the Horseshoe Falls, which is the Canadian side over there. Oh, thank you, Dave's Adventures. He's talking about a separate music channel that I have. I've set the redirect on this stream to just automatically go over there. So if you haven't seen it already, you'll see that all the same music that you hear usually in the background of the things I do, especially on my other channel, is all copyright free stuff, but I've got another channel for that as well. But thank you for that, Dave's Adventures. D Canuck, good to see you in the house. Hope I haven't missed anybody in the chat. Oh yeah, Rich New Design. It was pretty crowded. It was not like what you'd expect for 7-8 p.m. but a lot of people in there, considering it was midnight here. So Do the lights continue all night, says D. Canuck. If I remember right, I think they shut off at 2 in the morning. I think they, if I was to guess, I'd say they don't keep them all night because they don't really want people out in this dark area in small numbers at a time, if that makes sense. But that's just a guess. And I've driven by many times at all hours of the night, you know, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe it's 2 in the morning that they shut off. It's really something else what they do with these lights, obviously. They get into some pretty entertaining looking combinations here. One of the things they do very often is they'll put the American colors on the American Falls, red, white, and blue, and then they'll put red and white, the Canadian colors, on the Canadian side. Yeah, we are able to serve liquor, alcohol of all kinds until 2 a.m. So what happens is, like, you literally cannot serve 1 second after 2 in the morning. And it can lead to violations and stuff. And our inspectors, at least in Ontario, are very, very strict. I used to work in nightclubs and had to deal with that a lot. But a lot of places, you have the ability to, people can continue to drink whatever they ordered for another 45 minutes. I'm not sure if it's an hour. I forget what the law would actually say, but a lot of places do bottles off the tables by 2:45. Thank you, Rich New Designs. Makeup Mom and Son today was celebrating with a happy birthday live stream. So I hope everybody will wish Makeup Mom and Son a happy birthday if she's still in here. She did say, oh, there she is, yeah. She said she had to work. And then thank you, Makeup Mom and Son, for that as well. I really do appreciate all the support all my YouTuber friends are giving me with that music as well. So my bet is that the new thing that I'm doing, I'm going to be DJing again in a decent sized bar, and I'm going to try to stream, so we'll see if that works out. I'm going to multi-stream on different platforms, just like the music channel is doing right now. And the idea is that hopefully the audience from those live streams will bleed over and will draw in a lot of new people. Won't be anything like what I was doing in Ottawa a few months ago, but it should work out for a while, or over a long period of time, if that makes sense. This is the look, I'm right in front of the trees, right when an interesting part of the light show is about to come on. The lights will start moving in a second, probably. Yeah, there they go. And then thank you, Rich New Design. So anyway, yeah, that's the hope, right? Is that the audience will bleed over into that channel, and then we'll start pumping that up a bit. Yeah, it'll eventually be monetized. It's not a rush. I gotta admit, it took longer than I thought. But the thing is that I absolutely insist. But there's no way to know until we start, right? And then, but I'm gonna multi-stream. A lot of my DJ friends are all on Twitch, and it's for that reason, because they things are different over there. Things don't get shut down. If it's just a matter of replays being blocked and stuff like that, that's fine. I can sort that out afterwards. And we'll call the first night a test stream, even though it will be a live test. I might actually do a test stream, but we'll keep that unlisted or whatever you want to call it. There's so little light out here, it's literally like easy to almost bump into people. They got a nice clock for us. There's the Skyline Tower. Up on top of that tower is a restaurant, a revolving restaurant. There's a couple restaurants, I think, actually, but Kristen and I have been there for a couple special occasions. They always do a great job. I mean, you'd expect it anyway. And then the other thing that you see here all the time is these lookout things. So in Canada, we have $1 and $2 coins. And on the $1 coin, you have a picture of a loon. So they were nicknamed loonies, if that makes any sense. And then the $2 coin, because we're $2, are called toonies, or nicknamed toonies. We're on cellular, we're not using Wi-Fi or anything like that here. Apparently they have Wi-Fi down here. I tried using a little bit of it, and some of you might even remember some of my first streams. I kept trying and trying and trying and trying and trying, and just kept losing stream after stream after stream. But we've got our situation sorted now. Maybe there was just a area with no reception there for a second. Thank you, Scratch and PPA. Tonight I wanted to start the stream over at Clifton Hill. Next week when I come back out, we'll start down here just to give different things to see, or however you want to look at it. You can see that mist. So it looks like it's not actually coming this way now. Earlier it was like literally right overhead. To go from the Canadian side to the US side, there's a border right there called the Rainbow Bridge. I don't know whether you can really see it right now or not, but you can actually walk across that if you want. Lots of people do, as a matter of fact. When you drive across, you'd be probably surprised at how many people are walking across. I don't know what's involved because I've never done that. They were abandoning the project due to lack of interest, apparently, and then they replaced it on the day that it had to be renewed last or whatever, right? So it used to have CAN in the top. Give you an idea of how far we've gone. There's a Ferris wheel way off in the background. American Falls over there. There's like gift shops and a restaurant and things across the street. kind of get an idea of the hotels in the background. But there's the LED light panels that actually shine on the Niagara Falls. So you can imagine how bright and powerful those things have to be to do such a great job. Cooking with Miss Brown, good to see you in the house. Thank you for coming in. Just out for another brief look at Niagara Falls tonight again. I've done quite a few of these streams now, both in the winter and in the summer, in the day and the night, so you get a really good look at the different seasons and the different times, how things have changed over the last several years. I'm expecting the lights to start moving again. They've got these different patterns. Hoping to give you a good look. Oh, that's what I was hoping for. Super cool, right? Wonder if I can pay somebody in the lighting booth to do that whenever I come down here. We'll have our own custom light show maybe. I'll come down here one day and film this, and we'll do one of those sleep streams. Fall asleep to the sound of rushing waterfalls. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. It's been about an hour. I'm going to head in now, but I really do appreciate everybody's support. Like I said, I wanted to get some activity on Friday nights because I got something fun coming up in a couple of weeks. And then we'll be back out here hopefully next Friday. And in the meantime, for those of you with YouTube channels, Tuber Chat, I have to move the time for tomorrow. It's going to be quite early. I'll probably do it at 12 or 1 p.m. And then Sunday and Monday, we have yet to see. But thanks, everybody, for the time that you spent. I really do appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon.